Oh, baby. -5 might be real. If we're talking about premium plastic fairway drivers, I can't think of two flippier discs than the Prodigy F9 and the Discmania Forged Function. I have this in the 400 plastic. The numbers on the Function are 86 -41 and the F9 are 76 -5.5. We'll look at the profiles as well as do a 10-hole challenge with these two discs against one another because they've been sitting on my shelf waiting to be compared for months now, and today's finally the day. For a typical understable fairway driver, we have my Sphinx. These discs are -3.1. This is last year's run and this year's run. Both fly relatively similar, and I'll have all these linked down below. No reason that I picked my Sphinx for the comparison, but if you're looking at a typical, decently understable fairway driver, this is what you could expect. Slight hyzer to flat, turns for most of the flight, get some good distance. Hyzer flip, turn a little bit. We are in Denver, so things fly a little more overstable here. And there are definitely more understable discs and more understable versions of the Sphinx, and so much is plastic dependent, which is why it's so impressive that these two discs, both being max weight 173 and 175 grams, fly like this. Function. Way more hyzer to get even close to the same flight. And this will actually be my first throw with the F9. The Function was in my bag for rollers for a little bit of the season. I'm very intrigued about this. Oh, baby. -5 might be real. Less hyzer on that one than on the Function, but this is gonna be fun. If you've watched my reviews before, you've probably seen this course, but we typically are playing the front 9 because it's great for mid-ranges. The back 9, I haven't really ventured into that much. And since this is kind of learning these discs a little bit, seeing which one I prefer, also maybe giving some tips on how to throw crazy flippy stuff and have it fly somewhat straight, but mostly a challenge. We're gonna play hole 1 and then holes 10 through 18, a 10-hole total loop, in a CTP battle between the flippiest fairways ever. But since it's 10 holes, I might have done that specifically so I could still score because I like scoring in my challenges and reviews, and that'll be the tiebreaker. So if anyone just outright wins the CTP battle, score doesn't matter. But that way I get to practice a little bit of putting and have a little bit of fun. Before we get out there, if we are just talking profile, the F9 definitely has a slightly lower parting line and is a little blockier. It does feel like more of a 7-speed than an 8-speed, but this is definitely going to be interesting today. A little nose beat over here. Both discs feel really good in hand. The F9 has a little more dome. This is going to be intriguing. Hole 1, 276 feet. You see the basket gleaming in the sun as it's starting to set. Whichever one lands on heads is going to be the one I throw first. Okay, volteos. Finally, Function has done it. 5 flips, 4 of them where they were the same. Statisticians in the comments tell me the likelihood of that happening. My one rule is that I'll have to throw one forehand with each of them at some point today. They don't have to throw in the same shots. I do think the F9, based on those first throws, is going to be a touch flippier, but I also threw it on a different angle, so they might be similar. Function, first, 276. I think if I throw flat, it's going to turn, but I think it will fade. So I'm going to try to throw flat a little left of the basket and see if it turns in there. Now get a little fade. That's never gonna happen. Oh, the tree fade. The tree fade is real on that. With something this understable like these discs, since I don't bag it, I have a hard time believing that it's as flippy as it actually is sometimes. We're gonna get over that today. Not on these first throws though. Function definitely has that. Similar flights, both of them fly nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to get over that, otherwise this is gonna be quite the interesting video. Come on, F9. Brutal. Woo. Function one up in both respects, the score and the CTP. The fun thing about playing this back 9 is even though they changed this hole from a par 4 to a par 3 because of some construction, it's gonna be a gap shot. We have a lot more gaps, a lot more trees, and a couple par 4s. One of which is eagleable. I have yet to get it. Hole 17. I don't think these discs are gonna be the ticket, but they're flippy enough that if I throw them on enough hyzer through the gap, it It's theoretically possible. I have a line in my head for it. We're gonna have to wait till hole 17. But on all the par 4s, it's gonna be second shot CTPs, because one of them's 720 feet, and I'm not getting that close on the first shot. Maybe not even getting that close on the second, if we're being honest. Our second hole will be hole 10, 230 feet. You can see the basket in between those trees at the end there. This actually doesn't look like a terrible one for the forehand. There's another one that I had in mind. There's actually 3 holes I can forehand this thing on. And I kind of don't hate that, because if I'm on this side of the tee pad and it's flippy, as long as I miss this first tree, which I focus on doing by stepping to the left of the tee pad, I think that's actually a pretty good shot. The function, in my opinion, feels a little better than the F9. It's just a little flatter. The forged plastic also is this neoplastic, not forged, I don't know what else. It's not the forged function. This is the neo function. What was I talking about at the beginning there? But it just feels a little lower shoulder, but still very low parting line. Oh man. Oh man, that juiced it. So my forehands, especially that slow, typically have a little bit of nose up. So popping that nose up kept it way straighter than I thought. I thought it would turn more. Still hyzer flipped up, but see if we can do the same with the F9. F9, being a little domier and a little smaller rim, doesn't feel quite as comfortable to forehand, but definitely not impossible. A little more turn, get through, and kick down. That's gotta be a CTP. Came out a little higher, didn't drive it as much, but that thing was turning. F9, great shot. Function, I think, is a little far. The way that the box will work is that whoever got the last CTP will take the box, because it's always harder to throw the first shot as good as the second shot, because you can correct on it. So that just helps to mitigate one from always getting CTP. Just in circle 2. I just missed one of these highs, so let's miss this one in the middle of the pole, aka not miss it. There we go. Should be 1 CTP apiece, but 2-1 for the function. Next hole, they did add a tee pad, but we're playing the OG tee pad. It's a little overgrown, very hard to throw from, but with something this flippy, it will actually be good, almost necessary, because the angle you have to run up. But I think it's in the long position, which is 455 feet uphill. We get to take a max rip and see which one of these wants to go the distance. Okay, a little hyzer, just burned over. I'm gonna try to throw that same shot with the function, because I think the function's a touch more overstable than the F9, which makes sense based on the numbers. Wow, that thing is flippy. Yes, much more. I mean, still very understable. Wow, that is juice though. That's gonna actually be some sort of putt. Throwing any more highs than that, I feel like I lose some control. But those are pretty decent. F9 is the king of the flip though, as of right now. If you know of any other like overstable plastic, basically, max weight, super flippy fairway drivers, let me know. I can think of kind of the Genius from Discmania. Is a really flippy 7-speed. I don't know if they make anymore. It was part of their active line. Maybe the Ascend from Streamline Discs is pretty flippy. It's like -3 one, but something -4, -5, it's just a different animal. Now, I do believe the function got a decent bit farther than this did. It's right here, not quite in the trees, but close. Yeah, this is lined up with the gap though nicely, so I think it's gonna be time for, I want to throw the forehand, but I feel much more comfortable throwing something super flippy and super touchy on a backhand. So I'm just gonna try to smooth it right up there. Basically, I'm trying to throw it like I would throw a putter. I'm not trying to snap it, because if you snap it, it's gonna do crazier things. I'm trying to like, if you see Paul McBeth throw sometimes, he throws like that, where he'll just open his hand up. And that's what I try to do with something that understable. And typically it does pretty good. But that's only on those touchy shots. Just for any touchy shot that you want to throw, can be pretty useful. Not quite as far as I thought it was. I thought I was kind of pushing into this tree line, so I don't really have a putt. What I do have is another one of those touchy little shots. Uh-oh. Still a makeable putt though, so I don't have to resign this to a bogey just yet. Oh, man. Shoot. Here's where we get to take everything we learned on that hole and put it into action, because we have a 720-foot par 4, basically dead straight from where the tee pad is, but there's OB all along this right side. That becomes extra tricky with discs this understable, because if it starts turning and you go OB, you're not in a good spot. Meaning I almost want to aim, like run up on the tee pad this way and then aim on hyzer here so that it'll land straight because it's gonna go on hyzer, flip up, turn a little bit and land on a little turn. And by aiming my body and the disc angle so that that will finish straight, give myself the best chance at staying in the fairway. F9 first, and the other key, I think, big time for me, is keeping the disc low. I don't wanna just rip as hard as I can, as high as I can, because if I shank it at all and I make the mistake of turning it too much, then it has a much higher percentage chance of going OB. I'd rather throw a smooth 75, 80%er shot than trying to really rip it and getting the height all wrong. Man, I like it when a plan comes together. That's exactly what I said I was gonna do. That is awesome. All right, function. Same thing, a little less hyzer. Still a lot of hyzer, money again. That was a little bit more on the inside line. That's a really great line actually for this hole if you want to play down the middle. Oh, let's go. That was the shot I was more confident about. This next one, going over OB with OB right, needing to finish left of the basket. Oh man, I hope I can figure that out. The F9 did get just that little bit more distance versus the function. Right up here, compared to right here. That log that you see over this OB period here is maybe about 50 feet short of the basket, maybe a little more. There's OB on the road beyond the basket, and so I need to throw a shot here that instead of finishing on hyzer like these did, or on anhyzer, on this angle, finishes stable. So that means super nose up, super hyzer flippy, and in order to give myself the best chance of not going OB, that whole tree cluster, which is basically where the basket is just beyond it, I'm gonna try to finish to the left of the tree cluster. If I make a mistake, the disc is going to want to finish to the right of the tree cluster, which is going to be where the basket is, and that gives me about 50 feet of space to work with to keep things safe. Still not an easy shot, but I'm going to try to throw similarly, kind of inside of this tree here, a little nose up, and much softer than I just did. Angles are tricky on this one. That's pretty much how I wanted to throw that, I think. Oh, skipped off the log. I think I wanted it to be over the log, but because I threw it so soft, it stayed straight, didn't want to turn too much. I'm happy with that. F9 is a little touchier disc, I believe, so it's gonna be even more important, but I threw the better shot this time, so who's to say I can't do the same thing here? Nice, that's exactly how I wanted to throw that. It's gonna be a worse shot than the function, so the function's actually gonna steal another CTP, but that shot is closer to what I wanted to do because it was safer. The function, I actually missed a little inside, and that miss caused it to be closer to the basket. Both of these should have putts for birdie though, which I'm stoked on. This is not an easy birdie. If I can get it with either of these flippy boys, I'm super happy. But I am content with a par, which is what I should be able to get from here with a chance at the birdie. So pretty well executed, if you ask me. Huh. Wow, even this is tricky. Low ceiling. Oof. Nice and short, 215 feet. I think I want to try forehand again here. Oh, more nose up this time. Oh no. Guess I drove it a little more than I thought on the first hole of this back nine. That actually doesn't forehand bad. The function up here in Denver, if you want like a turnover forehand, that's not terrible. It feels good. The rim is wide enough that it fills your hand. That's pretty neat. The CTP is actually gonna be pretty close, the function versus the F9. And I think the F9 has it, which is gonna make it 3-2 through 5 holes. Ooh. Hey, I just realized walking over here, luckily with enough holes that it should count for something, I have not been obeying my box rule. I was defaulting to the box being whoever scored the best previously, which is not how it should have been. It should have been based on CTP. And so the F9 should have the box here, but the function should have had the box for like 1 or 2 other holes. So we're gonna keep it with the F9, and from here on out, we'll go based off of true CTPs, but 3-2, and a nice little forehand here, 245 feet. This is great because you can throw them kind of driven, you got a backstop, and you want to turn them inside of this tree. Should be a pretty shot. I'm able to execute one of them. Yes. Oh, sit down. Okay. Still a little too nose up to get the full turn, but I got turned around the tree, which is the main thing I was worried about. Oh no! That's so bad. It landed in an anthill, but I thought the shot was gonna be so pretty that I have to throw it again. I marked it. Fade in there. Oh wow, that went so long. Too glidey. Shoot. Where's my stick? Here's the anthill that the function was in, about 52, 55 feet. I would guess the F9 has a CTP, but we haven't seen it yet. Oh my gosh, what is that? Time was all wacko. Luckily, it's a nice bowl up here, so both of my bad putts sat down. Oh wow, it's actually a ways down here. Once again, I do think the F9 has it. Yeah, very clearly. It's kind of ticky-tacky though. I feel like the F9's gotten CTPs when the function has failed to have been thrown well. They're pretty uncontrollable discs. Not uncontrollable, they're just, you have to really know them and they're very specific, which makes them fun as training tools, but also I know a lot of people who use them as their main drivers. Definitely works for a lot of people. It's just about what you can be consistent with. Hopefully this jump putt is one thing. No, too low. That's just terrible. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Pars are my friend when I'm playing with this crazy of discs, but I gotta get at least one more birdie with each of them before the day's over. This next hole could be a good one. We have a left to right wind, meaning I might be throwing a crazy shot. The basket is right there. There's a gap right there that these might just be flippy enough that even though it's a bad idea, it's too enticing to not do it. Big time Anheuser. Let's see if this gets there. 270 feet. Push, 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 push. That was the right distance. Not enough wind. See if I can correct with the function. Oh, this is crazy. I think I did correct with the function. A little less juice. Oh, that might be in circle one. The first shot, I think I just tried to throw too hard and didn't trust that the disc would do the work to bring itself back right. And I think that goes to show if you throw too hard and it gets too negative of an angle, it's actually not going to glide on it, it's going to dive on it. But if you get the right angle, oh my gosh, I'm tempted away with the function. The disc will do the work and glide, and you don't have to force it. I think I was trying to force it with the F9. Because that is the function. Oh! Another birdie with the function. Back to 2 under, 3 to play. Hole 18 is a doozy. I rarely birdie it. 430 feet down a hill, maybe 420. 17 is that eagleable one. And the next hole is a pretty sick tunnel shot that both of these have a chance of throwing pretty Instagram-worthy drives on. Hole 16, 346 feet. Function as the box. Finally, I'm doing it correctly. Sorry about that. I think if you've never tried something that's understable, just trying it will improve your game. And try it with like an open mind of like, I'm just gonna learn this thing. I don't need to prove that I'm good with it. It's just fun, because obviously today, you throw some good shots, you throw a lot of bad shots, and you learn a lot about your form, and about the disc, and about how to throw flippy boys in touchy shots. Oh yeah, a little more hyzer than that, huh? So that's not a great sign. That's the level of hyzer I like throwing down the gaps. And that thing rolled over. I'm gonna have to throw a lot more hyzer on the F9. Maybe just try to be a little smoother and let the disc do the work. It's not easy. This is gonna be quite a tricky up and down here. You could go over the top, but not with this. Okay, the gap's actually pretty open. It's gotta be touchy. Focus on the nose angle here. Nose angle, neutral, not up. Let the disc do the work. Oh, maybe, yeah. That's lucky. I missed the intended gap, but I missed it by 6 inches instead of 2 inches, and I got around the little tree. That up and down is pretty clutch, because this is still not a gimme from the function. Definitely not. This one has a lot more shape to it, actually. And if you need it to turn, it's kind of tricky because I want it to throw it on nose up for the distance control, but I need it to turn, so I need to actually put it on turn with nose up, but the right amount of turn so that it doesn't turn too much. This is not simple, but doable. Oh, too little. Ooh. Oh no, I pulled it. Important putt for the F9. Bang, bang. Par 4 coming up. 2 CTPs. All tied up in scoring, so the function just needs a couple good shots to win it. Hole 17, par 4, 450. There is actually a roller play. If you get through this gap out into the open and roll it, that might actually be the best bet with these. These discs are made to be rollers if you throw pretty far, and so I think trying to hit the roller line might be the best chance at the eagle. That's the line. Oh, just that with the F5 is gonna be money. That still actually got into basically the perfect landing zone. You probably saw it curl up. That with this, I think because it's a little flippier, is gonna be perfect. I liked how that flew and how it rolled, just wasn't quite enough angle. Come on, come on. Yes. Flip up more. I don't see it. Might have got stopped up. Might have been still not quite enough angle. But that's the line on this hole, I think. With something this flippy, at least. Are you kidding me? They landed next to each other. I mean, this is pretty much where I would want to be from an air shot anyways. Function is a little further back, so if this was a first shot CTP, the F9 would have it, but it's gonna come down to the upshot. I think the function might actually be good on a forehand, because forehand actually keeps it up the hill since it's understable, whereas the backhand could pull it down the hill. So I'm gonna try it on the forehand. Oh, big skip. Up there though, that's money. And I think I'm gonna do the same with the F9. I like that. Nice touchy shot. Sit down. Oh my gosh. Those might be right on top of each other again. One reason I think that forehand was pretty good, that you can kind of take with you into other understable shots, is if they skip, understable shots actually typically skip either straight or counter skip. So both of those, if they were even a touch more overstable, probably would have skipped down the hill, but instead they still skipped mostly right, but much more forward than they should have if they were other types of discs. It's useful to know for get out of jail free shots too. And this, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's because I want it to be, but I think the F9 is a touch closer. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, just under 17 size 9 Bessies. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I am gonna say I think the F9 is closer. By a standard deviation that is completely inconsequential, but for the sake of the video and keeping it interesting until hole 18, it's way closer than the function. CTP for the F9. Birdie. Birdie. Last hole. But real quick before that shot, quick plug. Snag these discs, I'll leave them linked down below, but also snag my Tour Series Sphinxes. I'm working up something new, brewing it up, maybe you should say, for the Halloween season. So I'm pretty excited for that. But in the meantime, I got plenty of sweet custom stuff. I'll leave that linked down in the description. Like I always do my videos, but I just don't talk about it very much. So go snag some discs if you want some sweet plastic and to support me in the process. And here it is, hole 18, 420 feet. The good news is, because we are going downhill, I actually typically will stall this shot out because I'll try to throw a shot that's flat to me, but because it's going downhill, the nose is actually up relative to the grade of the shot to the basket. So this, if I throw something that should stall out, because it's so flippy, it might actually help it. So maybe getting something this flippy in the bag for the shot could be helpful. Oh man. Oh wow, I threw that so much higher than that, just went straight right. Oh wow, they're so unstable. I needed way more air on both of those shots, and I didn't have it. It still might be possible that the F9 is closer. This might have just gotten more interesting than I thought. What I did realize those shots just showed was when you're throwing understable, throw for smoothness rather than power. I tried to overpower both of those to get them the distance. And I think that power compensates for discs not having glide or understability. that's why you throw overstable stuff, because it is more consistent. But if you're throwing this understable stuff and you try to add power, that's when things start to go wrong. Unless you get the angles just so perfect. It's much easier for the disc to be forgiving if you try to throw it nice and smooth and let the disc shape itself rather than you forcing the shape of the disc. And if I'm not mistaken, in a wild turn of events, the F9 is up here and closer than the function. Oh my gosh, it's in the tree. And so even though it is closer and it wins the CTP battle, it's gonna take a miracle shot for me to throw that thing in the basket. Gonna be what it requires. Since this is so close up here, this is probably gonna take a par. Oh man, I can't believe the F9 won that CTP. That is embarrassing for me. I'm gonna try to throw a hyzer through that right gap and stall it into the basket. That was not it. I got my foot in behind. Not really a swing, but this disc might just be flippy enough that this could work. Or not. And that's about how this round should have ended. I could still throw it in and miss my 40-foot putt from the function, but this has been fun. This is makeable range though. 2 right. Good height though, dang. Oh, dang it. That's gonna be a bogey. Anyways, from that bad boy, and I threw both my putters, so I'm just gonna putt the function by itself with you guys in hand, which somehow means it's gonna go in. I don't know what to tell you. Good par for the function, solid win for it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, some pretty fun stuff going on soon. Tomorrow, I'm driving up to film a video with one of your favorite people, more likely than not, if you watch Disc Golf YouTube. See you soon.